889 words within the target range. Here's the finished script. For 61 years, the official record said the 1963 championship line was built from 12 blockers, but the team's front office made sure you'd never learn that a 13th man started every one of those games and was erased before the trophy was even engraved. That's the story they tell. It isn't what happened. Someone made sure you'd never hear this. Here's what the records were rewritten to hide. The winter of 1963 was cold in more ways than one. The league's players had walked out over pension terms. Owners needed bodies on the field within 2 weeks or forfeit the season. Rosters got padded fast, with men nobody vetted and nobody planned to remember. One of them was a lineman. 6'4", no college film, no union card. He started at right tackle in every game that followed. He graded out clean on every internal scouting sheet the coaches kept. And then, when the strike ended and the real players came back, his name did not appear in a single published box score again. Start with what everyone accepts. The team's media guide lists 12 linemen for that championship season, and every one of them still gets a plaque. But pull the equipment room ledger, the one nobody digitized until 2019, and a 13th uniform number shows up, issued and never returned. Pull the payroll stub from December of that year, and a name is printed there that matches no roster, no program, no game photo caption. The league's own archivists flagged the discrepancy twice, in 1988 and again in 2004. Both times the file was marked reviewed, no further action, and closed within a week. That's not an oversight. That's a decision. Someone with the authority to close a file made sure it stayed closed, twice, 20 years apart, using the same 3 words both times. The easy explanation is a clerical error. Ghost players show up in old rosters all the time. Misprints, temp signings, a name typed once and dropped. But a clerical error doesn't get flagged by 2 separate archivists a generation apart and closed the same identical way both times. A clerical error doesn't require an equipment ledger to be locked out of public archive access until 3 years ago. And a clerical error doesn't explain why the surviving players from that team, when asked directly in later interviews, all gave the same rehearsed answer. I don't recall anyone by that name. The same sentence from 6 different men, 40 years apart. That's not memory. That's messaging. Here's what they actually buried. The player wasn't a misprint. He was a replacement, brought in during the strike specifically to cross the picket line. The one thing the league could never admit it needed to survive that season. And when the union and the owners quietly settled that winter, both sides agreed on something off the books. No replacement player from that strike would ever be officially credited in any sport on any roster, because crediting them meant admitting the champions of that year were built, in part, on men who broke a labor action the league now claimed to honor. The front office didn't just leave his name off the program. They paid him a final check, larger than his contract, on the condition that his equipment number was reissued the following season and his file was sealed. The they here isn't one villain. It's the league office and the players' union, adversaries in public, quietly aligned in private, both needing this man to have never existed. Neither side wanted the other to be able to prove it later, so the sealing was mutual, notarized by lawyers from both camps, and buried in a settlement that was never meant to see daylight. That's the 61 years. That's what the callback to the opening number closes. 61 years of 2 rival institutions agreeing on exactly one thing: erase him. What that costs is simple and permanent. A man played every down of a championship season and has no pension credit, no plaque, no line in the history he helped write. His own children, when they finally found the payroll stub in an estate box in 2019, didn't know their father had ever played professionally at all. He never told them. That's the part that should stop you. He kept their secret for them for free for the rest of his life. The league got its clean narrative. The union got its moral high ground. He got a sealed file and a number that went to someone else the very next year. You were never meant to hear his name, because hearing it means asking who else got the same deal, on how many other teams, in how many other seasons nobody has pulled the ledgers for yet. So here's what's still buried. The 2019 estate box only surfaced because a family cleaned out a garage. Nobody went looking for it. If one file stayed sealed for 61 years by accident of a locked archive, how many more are sitting in ledgers nobody's digitized yet, on rosters you already think you know by heart? Somewhere, there's another equipment number that was reissued a little too fast. What are you going to do the next time you hear, "I don't recall anyone by that name"?